Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. So today is Monday. That is November 22, 2021. So good morning to all Felixians, especially to our grade 10 learners. Okay, so today is our second day for our online live teaching. Okay, so good morning to all. So before we proceed and start with our discussion this morning, let me greet first all the grade 10 learners. Okay, both the online distance learning and the modular distance learning students. Okay, shout out muna tayo sa mga students ko from online distance learning coming from grade 10 advocacy. Good morning sa inyong lahat. Grade 10 Brilliance, good morning sa inyong lahat. Grade 10 Beneficence, okay? And as well as the grade 10 Love. Ayan, good morning sa inyong lahat. Okay. So, together with us are the MDL students from grade 10 Fidelity. Ayan, good morning. Christine Paula Andres, good morning sa iyo. And then we have also here Princess John S.J. Pelausa of grade 10 Modesty. Okay, from JICA Extension. Good morning sa iyo. Okay, and then we have also from grade 10 Honesty, Cherry Abrantes. Ayan, good morning. I hope you are enjoying this morning, okay, for a new lesson to discuss. Ayan, so good morning po sa inyong lahat. Shout out sa lahat ng grade 10. So as of now, we are only 112 live viewers, both in Facebook Live and in YouTube Live via Felixian TV, yan, or Felixians TV. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Okay, so as we proceed and continue our discussion, okay, so last week, as you attended our first online live teaching, you have learned about the comparison of the wavelength and the frequencies and the energies of all the electromagnetic wave, or all the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so as we continue our discussion, okay, so let me greet you first with this quote. Okay, so let me say this to you. Always believe that something good is about to happen. Okay, and start right in morning and have a great day. Ayan, so be positive. Okay, not in COVID-19, but be positive in life. Everything will be positive. Okay, so good vibes lang tayo, mga grade 10, and everything goes well throughout the day. Yan, good morning sa inyong lahat. Okay, so we are still now in force, motion, and energy. Okay, under quarter 2, week 2. Okay, so we are already in the second week of our quarter 2. Okay. Yan. So our topic for this day is the practical applications of electromagnetic wave and the effects of the electromagnetic wave in the environment. So far, you are already equipped with the differences when it comes to wavelength, frequencies, and energies of all electromagnetic wave. So this time, it's time for us to know what are their applications in our life and how do they affect, or what are their effects, okay, in the environment. Okay? So before that, okay, let's have some recall. Okay, get grade 10. Okay, let's have some learning competencies first. So first, you are asked to cite examples of practical applications of the different regions of electromagnetic waves. Okay, and then explain the effects of the electromagnetic radiation on living things and the environment. Ayan, so we're going to find out how do these EM radiations affects us, human, as well as our environment. Okay? Yan. Let's proceed. All right, so let's do some recall. Okay, I'm calling all grade 10. Okay? So we will going to have some recall of our past lessons that were discussed. Okay, and we will going to name it as Who am I? Yan. So ready with your comment on our chat box here. I'm going to give 5 questions here, and you will going to write down your answer via chat box. Write down the number and your answer. Here we go. Let's have number 1. I have greater frequency and energy than microwave, but no of longer wavelength than the visible light. Who am I? Okay? Ayan. Okay. So answers there is ayun. Okay. Thank you, Maddox Luis. The answer is infrared. Okay. Let's have number 2. Okay. For number 2 here is I have greatest energy and frequency and among other EM waves, but of shortest wavelength. Who am I? Okay. What then is your answer? Number 2, I have greatest energy and frequency among other EM waves, but of shortest wavelength. Who am I? Yan. Okay, what's your answer? Okay, Rich Miranda from Great 10 Lab says it's gamma rays. So let's find out if the answer is correct. Okay, the answer is ayun, it's gamma rays. Ayan, thank you so much for those answers. Let's proceed now with question number 3. Okay, for question number 3, I have different regions of colors arranged in increasing frequencies and energy. Who am I? Yeah, number 3, I have different regions of colors arranged in increasing frequencies and energy. Who am I? Okay. So the answer now is most great 10 says it's visible light. Okay, thank you. And that's correct, visible light. Let's have proceed number 4. Yan. Okay, for number 4. Ayan. For number 4 is, I have the longest wavelength and the least frequency and energy among other EM waves. Who am I? Okay. Again, number 4, I have the longest wavelength and the least frequencies and energies among other EM waves. Who am I? Yan. So let's have Okay. So grade 10 says it's the radio waves. Thank you. Giselle Velasco, ayan. Winona Ray Castillo, Ashley Katuburan, ayan. Naintindihan nila ang ating diniscuss last week. Ayan, thank you for answering. Okay. So let's now proceed with number 5. Ayan. Number 5, here is my question. I have the longer wavelength than X-ray, but of greater energy than the visible light. Again, number 5, I have the longer wavelength than X-ray, but of greater energy than the visible light. Who am I? Okay, so let's wait for their answer. Yan. Ayun, okay. Maddox Luis again. Okay, what's your section ba, kuya? The answer is the UV rays. Okay. Brian Revecho Dalisay, ultraviolet rays. Hello, hello sa inyo. Hannah Layosa, UV rays. May Santos Olaires, ultraviolet rays. Raven Fernandez, ultraviolet rays. Ayan, tama ang inyong mga sagot. Raymond P. Belleza, ultraviolet rays. Okay, so I'm very glad that you all understand how we compare the wavelength, the energy, and the frequencies of the different electromagnetic wave. Yan. So for this morning, we will now proceed with the different applications. Okay, and how are we going to deal with their effects on us, human, and to our environments. Okay, thank you for those who have answered. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so as of now, we are already 143 and counting. Thank you so much for joining with our class this morning. Okay, as we proceed with our discussion, okay, so I have here three essential questions that we will be using to guide our present lesson today. Okay, my first question is, how do regions of electromagnetic spectrum affects our daily living and the environment? Okay, my second question is, why do gamma rays considered as the most harmful type of electromagnetic wave? Okay, and the third one is, how important are the radio waves in the telecommunication and information dissemination? Okay, so we will going to find out and answer all these essential questions as we go along with our topic this morning. Yeah. Okay. So, do you wonder how we can watch our favorite noontime show or news program in television? Or how we can tune in our favorite FM radio station? Okay. That is due to our first EM, and that is the radio wave. Okay. So, accordingly, the EM wave has the longest wavelength but of least frequency in energy at the same time. This region can be used to transmit signals for communication and broadcasting. The question is, how does it happen? Okay? How does it happen that the radio wave can be used in broadcasting and in communication? Okay, let's find out. Take a look at this picture. Ayan. So, the illustration is also shown in your self-learning module. So, how does radio wave is being used in this kind of radio communication and broadcasting? Okay. So, here, we have here the broadcaster. Okay. The broadcaster uses the microphone. Okay. So, the microphone here is being used by the broadcaster. The microphone converts the sound waves to audio frequency signals or the electrical signals and act as receptor. The audio frequency or AF signals will now go to a modulator. Yan, so makikita nyo po dito sa ating diagram, meron po yung modulator. Okay? Yan. At the same time, the radio frequency oscillator will produce a radio frequency carrier. Ba? Waves that reach the modulator. Those who will be transformed into appropriate modulated carrier waves through the process of amplitude modulation of frequency modulation. Okay, di ba meron tayong dalawang klase ng modulation. Meron tayong AM at saka FM. So we'll start first with the amplitude modulation. Here, the amplitude of the radio waves or the RF carrier changes to match that of the audio frequency signal. This is used in standard broadcasting because it can be sent over a long distance. So remember, our radio wave has the longest wavelength among other EM waves. That's why radio wave is used in radio broadcasting. Very high frequency wave provide a higher quality broadcasting, including stereo sounds. In this process, instead of amplitude of the RF carrier, yan, so nakikita nyo po sa ating illustration, it is then the frequency of the wave that changed to match that of the signal. This is now called the frequency modulation. Ayan, so makikita niyo po yan, yan yung process na yan dito sa ating illustration. Now, after the modulation process, the modulated carrier wave will be sent to the amplifier that will magnify its energy. So the amplified modulated carrier wave is then sent to the transmitting antenna. Okay, so the antenna itself will receive now the radio wave. Okay, the changing current in the antenna generates the radio wave that travels in all directions. Okay, the ionosphere helps the radio waves to bounce back radio waves and will be accepted by the receiving antenna. That's why it is possible for us to watch programs, news programs, or other television programs, okay, because we are if you have there previously in analog, diba, we are very much dependent to antenna. And now we are in a digital age. Okay, so our reception for signals also uses a radio wave. Okay, so in this case, once the radio wave reaches the receiving signal, a tuner circuit selects the frequency of her station desired. The received signals will now be sent to the demodulator. Okay, which is then get the information. The AF signal from the modulated carrier wave will be sent to the amplifier. Ayan, so sunod-sunod na po yan. Sa ating diagram, may amplifier po siyang sinusundan. And then, it will now be transported to the speaker. Okay, that will convert the original sound. Okay, so that's how the process of the radio broadcasting and communication happens as we use radio wave. Okay, so that's why it is possible or evident to use radio wave in radio broadcasting and in communication, di ba? So nowadays we are into digital age. Okay, so medyo advanced na rin or high-tech na rin ang reception ng radio wave sa mga radio station at sa mga television network. Okay, so I hope you understand how radio wave is being used in telecommunication or in radio communication and in broadcasting. Okay, so thank you. So let's proceed now with the next EM application. Okay. Yan. So I have here another set of questions. Now, after you understand how radio wave is being used in radio broadcasting and communication, do you wonder how we can watch our favorite NBA team in playoffs? Okay, yung mga mahilig manood dyan sa NBA, okay, or an international event via satellite. Yan. This is due to the use of the next EM, and that is the microwave. Okay? We all know that this wave have greater frequency and energy than the radio wave. Okay? Pero mas shorter ang kanyang wavelength kumpara sa radio wave. That's why this EM spectrum is much used in satellite communication. Okay, so kung ang radio wave ginagamit siya sa radio broadcasting, ang microwave naman ginagamit naman siya sa satellite communication. Okay, wherein we receive informations coming from different parts of the world through our artificial satellite. Okay, so that is our satellite communication. So how does it happen? Okay, so take a look at this illustration. Okay, so in this illustration, you have seen that the microwave have higher frequency compared to the radio waves, di ba? Kanina nabanggit na natin yan. That made it to be used in satellite communication. So it is possible for us to watch different international programs such as events, okay, or games, okay. For example, mga SEA Games, ayan, yung mga international pageant, ayan, yung mga may hilig sa mga pageant, it is possible through the use of the microwave due to satellite communication. So, as you've seen in the figure, a ground equipment is used to transmit signals to a satellite that will amplify the signal and return it to the Earth to be received by another ground equipment. Okay, unlike the radio waves, the microwaves are also used to transmit signals overseas. Okay, this is the reason why we can communicate our friends and relatives living in other parts of the world. Okay, so that's how our technology is advanced nowadays. It is possible for us to communicate with our relatives, our friends in different parts of the world, wherever they are in any time possible given. We can communicate with them the best way possible through satellite communication. And that is possible through the use of the microwave. Yan. So another use of this microwave is the use of the radar. Ayan. The use of the radar. Okay. Or radar stands for radio and detection ranging, or radio detection and ranging. So how does radar is being used or use the microwave? Okay. It is used to locate, track, recognize, or detect objects within the range. Okay. It emits microwave until it reaches the target, and echoes will be produced from the target and will bounce back to the radar antenna. It is commonly used in the national defense by tracking the aircraft. Ayan, nakikita ninyo sa ating illustration. Okay. And ships from other countries that may trespass and cause threat. But did you know that it is also used by our vehicles? Okay, napakaraming applications ng microwave gamit itong tinatawag natin na radar, or yung tinatawag natin na radio detection and ranging. Okay, so it can be used in the international airport. Okay, katulad sa atin sa NAIA. Okay, it can be also used to track different aircraft or airships. Okay, and it can be also used in the sea or in the seaport. Okay, and say for example, merong wag naman sana no, yung mga barko na lumubog. Okay, so the use of microwave through the radar is very much used there. Okay, to trace and detect different debris or different materials that has been sunk on a given area of the sea. Okay? Or yung lumubog sa isang lugar. So ginagamitan din po yan ng radar. Okay? So pagka merong nakuwang information, merong magba-bounce back na wave para ma-determine natin na meron doong mga materials na nakita sa ilalim ng karagatan. Ayan. Okay. Okay. Another use of the microwave, ito very familiar tayo dito eh. Ayan. Ito, favorite ito ng mga mahilig mag-snack or snack time ano. The use of the microwave oven. Ayan. So, the microwave oven is used to cook or heat food. How? When you turn on the microwave and started to set it, the water molecules of the food inside start to vibrate through the microwaves, causing the production of intermolecular friction between the molecules of the food. As a result, heat is produced that will make the food to be cooked. Ayan. So yung mga mahihilig sa mga instant na food na iniinit lang natin. So for us to eat such kind of food na medyo mainit-init pa, we tend to use this kind of microwave oven. Okay? And I think the term microwave is taken from this kind of appliance. Okay? And another use of the microwave is the use of our mobile phones. Di ba? So all cellular phones, mobile phones, okay, whether smartphones or regular phones, all of them uses this kind of EM wave, okay, the microwave. Okay, so it's possible for us to send message or receive message from our friends or from our relatives through microwave. Okay, so that's those are the applications of the microwaves. Okay, yeah, let's proceed now with the next type of EM, and this is the infrared. Okay, so the infrared has the following applications. Okay, so we all know that infrared has shorter wavelength, okay, than the microwave, but it has higher frequency and energy than the microwave. Okay. So here are some applications of the infrared. So infrared photographs taken from the satellite with special films provide useful details of vegetation and the Earth's surface. I know nakakakita kayo ng mga ganitong klase ng mga figures. Okay, it uses an infrared. Okay, another one is, ayan, ito familiar sa atin, lalo na sa mga galing sa ibang bansa, di ba? So, at the onset of the pandemic or at the threat of the COVID-19, okay, as in the late 2019, di ba? All countries in the world are get alarmed with this kind of virus. Okay, and one way to detect if a person is a carrier for this kind of virus is through thermal scanning, in which we will going to determine the temperature of the passengers coming in and out of the country. Diba? So, thermal scanning is one application of the infrared. Ayan. So, infrared scanners are used to show the temperature variation of the body. This can be used in medical diagnosis. All used in thermal scanning in the airports to detect passengers' temperature. Yan. So it is very helpful for the different officials to detect who are the persons a possible carrier of the virus. Okay, that up to now it is very much used. Okay, in our airports. Okay, yan. Okay. Okay, ito very common din sa inyo. Another use of infrared, of course, is the use of the remote control. Ayan. Infrared remote controls are used in televisions, video cassette recorders, and other electronic appliances. Diba? So, we no longer get closer to the appliance. Instead, we use remote to control the device or the appliances that we are using, such as television, and sometimes yung mga ano din, 'di ba, yung mga electric fan, we also use remote control there. Okay? And those remote controls uses infrared radiation. Okay? Yung mga lumang cellphones, yung mga previous brand and types of cellphones, hindi pa kasi nauso noon yung yung itong mga common natin ngayon na pagsisend ng mga pictures, di ba, via personal message. Noon ginagamit namin infrared sa mga previous type of cellphones. Ayan. Ayan. Okay, another important use of infrared is in the instrument used in studying celestial bodies in our solar system. Okay, infrared telescope used to study the celestial bodies. Yan. Okay, that is one important application. Okay, and of course, ito yung mga mahihilig sa mga camera, di ba? Autofocusing camera has transmit the sends out infrared pulses. Okay, so yung mga gumagamit dyan ng mga SLR, yan, yun yung mga may mga autofocusing camera. Okay, na nagbibigay sa atin ng magandang image. Okay, it also uses infrared. Yan. Okay, so other uses of infrared are as follows. I know you are very familiar with this, the augmentative communication devices. Okay, we use also infrared there. Number 7 is the car locking system. Okay, sa may mga sasakyan, you use infrared there to lock and unlock your car. Okay, computers, mouse, keyboards, and printers also uses infrared. Emergency response team. Ayan. The headphones that we are using also use infrared. Okay. The home security system, okay, also uses infrared. The navigation system, kanina yung diniscuss din, gumagamit din po yan ng infrared. Okay. Signages, yung nakikita nyo nag-move from left to right, okay, are also using infrared. Okay, some telephones and some toys also uses infrared. Yan. Okay. Thank you for watching. So for those who are still coming in, thank you for joining with our class this morning. Okay, so our next EM is the visible light. Yan. So we all know that visible light are furtherly divided into 7 colors, namely red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. And they are represented by the acronym ROY-GBIV or ROY-GBIV. May indigo pa dito. Diba? Okay. So the visible light shares the thinnest slice in the electromagnetic spectrum. It lies in between the infrared and the ultraviolet rays. It is only EM that we perceive by the human eye. So ito lang po yung EM among other EM wave na kayang i-perceive ng ating mata. Okay? White light is made up of variety of colors that are arranged as follows. Okay, so mention na natin kanina. Through the color, though the color travels at the same speed, they come in different wavelength. Remember, class, that the speed of light is also the speed of the visible light. And that is 3 times 10 to the 8th power meter per second. Okay, that's how fast our white light travels. Okay, so that is their speed. And that is represented by the letter C. Okay, now these colors varies into different wavelengths. So like for example, the red has 620 to 750 nanometers, and the shortest is violet that range from 380 to 450 nanometer. Okay, so that's how wavelengths are being arranged using this visible spectrum. Okay, next. Ayan. Okay na sir, go. Okay, so I am back. There are some technical problem, but still we continue our discussion in the visible light. So as you've seen here, our visible light has the measurement of the respective wavelength, but of course, each wavelength has corresponding frequencies. So the same as true with the electromagnetic wave, the visible lights that have 7 colors also varies in wavelength and in frequency. So they are arranged also in decreasing wavelength but of increasing frequency from red down to violet. Okay. Ayan. So our human eye can only perceive a wavelength that range between 4 times 10 to negative 7 meters to 7 times 10 to negative 7 meters. So this is the only range that our human eye can perceive. And we all appreciate the colors. Okay, that's why it's possible for us to appreciate colors. Okay? Ayan. Okay, so let's move now to the different applications of the visible light. Okay, first of all, here is the use of the optical fibers and the medical use. Okay, so I know you are familiar with this. Okay, so the use of the optical fibers in endoscopy. Okay, so familiar tayo dito. Ito yung ginagamit kapag something that is happening in our stomach, okay, or there is a problem inside our digestive tract, okay, the doctor recommends you to undergo the medical procedure of endoscopy. Ayan. So tinitingnan at ini-examine yung ating stomach. Okay? So gumagamit yan ng optical fibers na ginagamitan ng visible light. So may mga nakakonect po dyan na camera, tapos i-monitor kung ano po yung case or situation sa loob ng ating stomach. Okay? Another one is the screen of our electronic device. Ayan. So it also use the visible light. So familiar tayo dyan kasi we may able to use our cell phone because of the screen that is present there. Diba? Next one is the artificial lighting that we have. So, ito alam natin to. Ano? Kasi meron nito sa ating bahay. Okay, so we usually use this especially during at night. Diba? Ayan. Okay. Next one is the ultraviolet rays. Okay, so we have already radio wave, microwave, the infrared, the visible light, and now we are on our fifth ray or wave, and that is the ultraviolet rays. So it is also known as the UV rays. Okay, so meron tayong illustration dito ng sun. So alam na natin na UV rays are coming from the sun. Okay? Ultraviolet radiation lies beyond the violet of the visible spectrum. Its wavelength is shorter than the visible light but carry more energy and higher frequency. The sun is our main source of ultraviolet radiation, but there are also artificial sources of UV light. Okay, so we know already that the UV rays is our source, that the sun is our source of the UV light. Okay, now, too much exposure to sun may cause skin problem. So beware and be aware of the too much exposure of the sunlight. Okay? Okay. Another one, yan, familiar tayo dito, the use of the UV rays with the use of the UV light. Ito, pagka titingnan natin kung peke ba ang mga pera, ayan, magpapasko na, di ba? Marami na naman ng mga naglipana. Okay? Okay. Sir Sam, pakat mo na saglit. Pause. Okay, so as we continue with our discussion, so we are now into UV rays. Ayan. Okay, so as what I have said earlier, so the ultraviolet rays or radiation lies beyond the violet of the visible spectrum. It is the wavelength that is shorter than the visible light but carry more energy and higher frequency. The sun is our main source of ultraviolet radiation, but there are also artificial sources of UV light. Okay. So these are the UV rays or artificial UV rays applications. So the use of UV rays in determining the fake banknotes, okay, such as the fake money or the fake passport. Ayan, so ginagamitan po natin yan ng UV rays. So UV radiation in UV lamps are used by the banks to check the signature on a passbook and also used to identify fake banknotes. Okay. Okay. Another use of the UV rays is the ultraviolet radiation that is used in sterilizing water from drinking fountain. Yan. So we also use UV radiations here. Okay. And then another use of the UV rays is some washing powder also contains fluorescent chemicals which glow in sunlight, making shirts whiter than white in daylight. Yan. So that is another use. Okay. And the fourth one is UV radiation in sunlight produce vitamin D in the skin and gives us the tanning effect. Okay, so some experts says that too much exposure to UV rays may lead to damage to our skin, especially if you're exposed in the time between 10 o'clock in the morning up to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is too dangerous for our skin. Okay, so ang sabi naman ng mga experts, mas maganda raw ang sikat ng araw pag ito ay sa umaga. Umagang-umaga, maybe at around 6 o'clock in the morning up to 7 or 8 in the morning lang. Yun. So those are the good and the bad effect of the UV rays in our skin. Okay. Next type of radiation here is the X-ray. Okay. So accordingly, X-rays just come next after ultraviolet rays. They are shorter wavelength but carrier higher energy than the UV rays. X-rays are produced using an X-ray tube. They are emitted when fast-moving electrons hit the metal target. X-rays were discovered by Wilhelm Conrad Roentgen in 1895. Ayan. So familiar tayo dito kasi this is very much used in medical diagnosis. As one application, here is our example. Okay. Long wavelength X-rays can penetrate the flesh but not the bones. They are used in X-ray photography to help doctors look inside the body. They are useful in diagnosing bones, fractures, and tumors. Ayan. So, what are those examples? Ayan. So, let's say for example, nagkaroon kayo ng problem sa buto. Okay, especially fractures or any damage in the bones. Ayan. So, it can be diagnosed using an X-ray. Okay. For some, sa chest X-ray naman, dinadiagnose kung merong lung problem or heart problem. So, nadidetect din po yan gamit ang ating X-ray. Ayan. So, since the X-ray have higher frequency and higher energy, it is advised to all patients not to do X-rays procedure frequently. Kasi nga, it is too much dangerous na. Okay? So, it carries shorter wavelength, but it carries higher frequency and energy. So, minsan lang ginagawa ang X-ray procedures. Okay? Another application of X-ray. Okay? So, short wavelength X-ray can penetrate even through metals. They are used in industry to inspect welded joints for faults, especially in engineering. Okay. Ito matututunan to ng mga future engineers natin na gumagamit din ng X-ray para sa mga engineering related tasks ng mga engineers. Okay, especially yung pagka may pag-build ng mga buildings, ayan, ng mga dams, okay, ng mga infrastructures, they use X-rays here, okay, in engineering purposes. Okay. Another is all X-rays are dangerous, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, because they can be damage healthy living cells in the body. This is why frequent exposure should be avoided. Too much exposure to X-rays can damage body tissues and of course can cause cancer. Ayan. So that's how risky if you are too much exposed to X-rays. Okay. And this would be our last type of EM. Okay, and its application. Okay, so we have here the gamma rays. Okay, the gamma rays lies at the end of the electromagnetic spectrum. They are the shortest in the wavelength and with highest frequency. They carry the highest amount of energy, thus they are the most dangerous type. Gamma rays are emitted by stars and some radioactive substances. They can only be blocked with lead and thick concrete. Tingnan nyo naman kung paano kalakas ang energy ng gamma rays. Okay. They could pass through on paper and on aluminum foil, but it can be blocked by lead and concrete. Ayan. So, gamma rays can also penetrate our flesh, okay, and our skin, even our bones. Diba? Since it carries high amount of energy, they can be also used in medical diagnosis. Gamma rays are very strong that they can kill living cells. Gamma rays are used to treat cancer cells through the process called radiotherapy. They are also used in sterilizing medical tools. Ayan. So these are the common examples of the use of the gamma rays. So the left illustration here use the gamma rays as in radiotherapy. And on the right side is the gamma rays are being used in sterilizing medical tools. So napapansin niyo na karamihan ng mga use ng ating mga EM radiations or EM rays are more on medical purposes. Okay? Okay, so this time, Let's have some exercises. I want you to get your pen and paper and be ready to comment again with your answer here. Identify the type of electromagnetic wave used in each application. Okay, write down number and then your answer. Okay, so here we have number 1. Sterilization of medical tools. Okay. What do you think is this type of EM wave being used here? Ano kaya? Okay, Charis Uy, answer. Let us see. It's gamma rays. Ayan, very good. So they are all active again in answering the exercises here. Okay, let's wait for the others to answer. Okay, thank you, Eloisa Oximas. Demerose Gerkan, Advocacy. Thank you. Okay, next. For number 2. It is used to treat cancer cells. What type of EM wave is used here? Okay, let's wait for the others to answer. Number 2. Okay. Other answers. All right, correct. So it's gamma rays again. Let us see. Yun, correct. It's gamma rays. So sabi ni the same people, Jesly Solorin, gamma rays, thank you. May Santos Olaires, gamma rays. Okay, Winona Rico Castillo, gamma rays. Okay, thank you. Next, let's have the third application. What type of EM wave used in remote control? In remote control. So let's wait for the other to answer. Okay, Matthew Favia answered it. Infrared. Okay, very good. Thank you. Maddox Luis, infrared. Ayan. Okay, Ana Gabriela Gabilo Balan, infrared. Thank you. Okay, let us see if the answer is infrared. Okay, correct. The answer is infrared. Ayan. Okay, number 4. Type of electromagnetic wave that use thermal scanning. Thermal scanning. Okay, let's wait for the answer. Okay. Thermal scanning. What's the answer? Okay. All right. So Arabel Apolonio answered it infrared. Raymond Vellesa, infrared. Okay. Thank you. So the answer there is infrared. Ayan. Joraine Cortez, Jade Ann Serda. Ayan. Thank you for your answer. Next, number 5. Type of EM that is being used in artificial lighting. Okay, number 5. Artificial lighting, number 5. Okay. Chesley Solorin answered it. Visible light. Ayun. Ayan. Matthew Fabia says visible light. Jurain Cortez answered it visible light. The same as with May Santos Olaires. Arabel Apolonio. Ayan. Thank you. Mia Francine Branzuela. Visible light. Ayan. And Rich Miranda. Okay. So the answer there is visible light. Okay, next, number 6. Ayan. The use of radar. So what type of EM wave is being applied here? Number 6. Okay, let's wait for the others to answer. Number 6. Yes, Juliana Rose, Austria says it's microwave. Ayan. Kath Bernardo, microwaves. Leila Pasa, microwave. Okay. Ian Augustine, microwave. Aloysa Oximas, microwave. Charmaine K. Chung, microwaves. Okay, so the answer here is microwave. Okay, and next, number 7. Diagnosis of bone fractures and tumors. What is the application here? Number 7. Okay. Ayun. Jesly Solorin says, X-ray. Jurain Cortez, X-ray. Winona Rico Castillo, X-ray. Okay, thank you for your responses. Yan, ang daming hearts, ang daming comments. Thank you. Stephanie Claro, X-ray. Thank you. So the answer here is X-rays. Number 8, the use of optical fibers. What type of EM is used here? Okay, number 8. Ayun, Ana Gabriel Balan, visible light. Benedict Hernandez, visible light. Okay. Maddox Luis, visible light. Ayan. So the answer here is visible light. Okay. Next, number 9. Broadcasting communication. What type of EM is used here? Number 9. Okay, let's wait for the others to answer. Okay. Okay, correct. Ana Gabriela, radio waves. Ayan, Winona, radio waves. Jerain, radio waves. Rich Miranda, radio waves are their answers. Angel Jasmine Malbas, radio wave. Ashley Cotoburan, radio waves. Ayan. May Santos, Jesly Solorin, April Apostol, Eloisa Oximas. Ayan. Thank you. Your answers are correct. Okay. And last but not the least, number 10, detecting fake banknotes. What type of EM is being used here? Let me see. What's the answer for number 10? Okay, number 10, the answer is UV rays. So, correct. Angel Bernice Petalio, Andrea Nicole Dumlao, Brix Mendoza, okay, Angel Malbas, Frances Bain Cruz, all of your answers are correct. Ayan, thank you for your answers. So, I'm sure that all of you got a perfect score, okay, in answering the applications of electromagnetic wave. The same as true, we already discussed their effects in our body as well as in our environment. Okay, so thank you for all your answers. Okay. Now, as we move along, I want you to be reminded and be guided of this week's learning task, okay, performance task, and written work. Okay, so starting today, Monday, November 22, 2021. So here are your learning tasks and performance tasks, as well as written work to perform. Okay, so you will be doing learning task number 1 on page 18 for Monday. For Tuesday, that will be a performance task wherein you will going to make a campaign material, either a poster or a slogan. Okay, for Wednesday, you will be doing learning task number 3 on page 19. And on Thursday, November 25, you will be doing written works number 2. Okay, so I hope you have your own copy of these written works and performance tasks. Okay, either hard copy or soft copy. Okay, and be ready to submit all your outputs, okay, on the schedule that will be given to you anytime soon. Okay, so thank you so much. Ayan. So our reference here for our discussion is our self-learning module of Science 10, Quarter 2. Okay, so again, so thank you so much for joining our class this morning. And I hope to see you again for the next session. This has been Sir Rowel Engreso, your science teacher of Science 10, saying thank you and happy to serve you.